Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Be Rich today. We have an exciting line of books which Sashwath has brought to us today, which we're going to talk about. These are books which have influenced him, influenced Anand, influenced me. These are the books which we always refer to. And I thought it would be nice to talk about these five books which offer valuable insight into the world of investing. So let's get started. The first book which we're going to talk about is The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. This is a classic masterpiece emphasizing on the importance of value investing and provide practical techniques to analyzing stocks. Graham's philosophy centers around the concept of margin of safety, which helps protect themselves against potential losses. He also highlights the significance of long term thinking and avoids speculative behavior. So, Shashwat, dive into this book. Tell us all about it. How has this book influenced you?
Yeah, I think you, me, and my other uncle combined, we must have about at least four copies of this book total, maybe more, maybe five, six copies of The Intelligent Investor. And this is Benjamin Graham's seminal work. This and security analysis. Security analysis is more technical in the way it deals with stocks and bonds. Security analysis tells you how to look and price certain assets in the Benjamin Graham way. But then intelligent investor gets you started on the way of how to even begin and think about investing. So Warren Buffett has come out and said in multiple places that the Intelligent Investors chapter 8 up to 12 are the most important chapters in the book. And these chapters highlight a few important principles which I want to touch upon. So the Intelligent Investor 1 tells you that the market is not rational. You have Mr. Market who acts in the way Mr. Market does, and it doesn't have to be completely rational. And you, as an investor, can capitalize on Mr. Market's behavior, and you can make a lot of money doing this. And the intelligent investor tells you to be cautious. It tells you to be defensive in how you place your returns, because if you were reasonable in how much returns you wanted from your investments, you wouldn't have even fallen for the crypto story, because the crypto story promised overnight wealth. But that is something which, as an intelligent investor, you would not have desired, and you would have not even gone next to it. So that is something you can learn from the intelligent investor. Two, the intelligent investor drives home and hammers home the point of margin of safety. Margin of safety is your best friend, not just in investment, as I've said before. Margin of safety is something you need everywhere. Everywhere there's a consequence of any volatility, you need a margin of safety. And that's what the intelligent investor drives home. And number three, it tells you about how you can price these companies and how you can get that intrinsic value. These are some of the most important principles which center around investing, which the intelligent investor tells you. And these are lifelong principles. No matter, the intelligent investor was written in the 20th century, but it more or less applies ditto towards the 21st century. Yes, some examples may be dated, but you can still learn a lot from them. And Jason Zweig's forward and notes which he's given for each chapter is very useful for beginner investors, because the intelligent investor can be a bit of a hard read. I definitely found it hard during my first read through, and Jason Zweig's commentary breaks it down and gives some more modern examples. And this is something which every investor needs in their library.
Yeah, and Shashwat and Anand have covered this book, I think, in MoneyPace channel. Chapter wise, they've done quite a few of the chapters. So that is something you guys can look into. And I'll ask the team to put a playlist below so you guys can go through that and see what Anand and Shashwat's notes on intelligent investors are. And it's one of the first and most fundamental books that all of you should read as an investor. I would say it's like the first book you should read. If you've not read anything, this is the first book you should give it a go at. Moving on, the second book Shashwat would like to touch upon today is called The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clayson. This book is set back in ancient Babylon, the environment, and it talks about financial wisdom through storytelling, through parables. And it tries to teach you the fundamental principles of saving, investing, and multiplying wealth. The stories provide practical lessons into budgeting, living within your means, and how to prioritize investing and to generate passive incomes. And it talks about building wealth requires two main things, which is discipline and taking prudent decisions. That means unemotional decisions and practical decisions. And Shashwat has and me have spoken about this book on a separate video. So I thought Shashwat can briefly walk us through what he thinks about this book and what he has learned from this book.
Yeah. So this book is maybe a precursor to The Intelligent Investor, even in the sense that this book tells you that you need to save. It doesn't even, the intelligent investor starts off with that assumption. The intelligent investor goes on the assumption that you've already decided that you want to save and that you want to invest. But this book tells you that in order for you to be the quote unquote richest man in Babylon, you would have to follow these fundamental principles which are laid out in the book in a nice story type fashion. So this is a book which not just adults can enjoy, but something which you can give to people who are quite young, maybe in the who are somewhere between 14 till 20 years old, who can take a lot from this. So this is as good for adults as it is for slightly younger adolescent people. This is one of the first few books I read, and this book has drove home the idea of investing, the need to save, how to be prudent with your invest, and these are lifelong principles, and these have been there for millennia. That's why it's called The Richest Man in Babylon and set during the Babylonian era, which basically was loads of centuries ago, and the rules haven't changed from then to now. That's what the book is trying to tell you. So please do heed the advice which George S. Clason has very ingeniously given through the story of a parable, and definitely a must read for beginners, novices, as well as experts and intermediates.
True, well said. And I think if all of you are parents and you're thinking about how to introduce your children into investing or importance of money and financial management, this is a great book to start with. Something you can read together and work together, and it's a great starting book, as Shashwat has rightly said. The next one, which Shashwat wanted to bring to you guys, was called "The Most Important Thing," illuminated by Howard Marks. This book was written by the acclaimed investor and co-founder of Oaktree Capital Management. It explores the complexities of investing and risk management, and it dives into the psychological aspects of investing and managing emotions and understanding what are market cycles. He emphasizes the importance of second level thinking, which involves considering how others perceive investment opportunities. Its insightful commentary encourages investors to think critically and be cautious about navigating the markets. So I think this is like the next intermediate book after Intelligent Investors. Shashwat, what do you say?
Yeah, I would say that it's more for the people who have read Intelligent Investor, gotten a taste of what it means to invest in stocks and bonds and construct a portfolio. And now, okay, you've decided that you want to enter the market. How do I enter the market? Yes, I know there's a concept of margin of safety, but then what? Howard Marks very eloquently writes a book explaining what are some of these factors throughout his decades of experience, which he has found out to be the most important thing, illuminated. And he is illuminating it for you. So the title is very literal. You have to take it in a very literal sense because he says in the book, Howard Marks says that when I was trying to tell someone about the most important thing in investing, I said this is the most important thing, and then I spoke for a bit, and then I continued saying no, but this is the actual most important thing. So that's how this book was created. Howard Marks kept saying this is the most important thing, and he ended up having like the 10 commandments pretty much, and he's come up with an assortment of lessons from his investing career for us to, he's cherry picked it and given it on a silver platter, and if we don't consume it then it's our loss. So that is something which all of us should definitely consider. It's a great investment. Don't pirate the book. Trust me, buy the book and take notes on the margins. This book will be the sort of bible for investing for most intermediate investors.
True. And it's important to remember when you read these books is to make notes on them and to liberally write and scribble all over the books so they can always recollect and highlight important passages so you can revisit them and remind yourself the important lessons these books have to offer. The next one, which Shashwat wanted to talk about, is called The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. A lot of us always wondered, where did this economy come from? Where does all this global free market come from? What is capitalism? How did this all come about? And there is this fantastic book called Wealth of Nations, written by Adam Smith, which is a very old book, which talks about all this. It talks about free markets. It talks about the impact on wealth creation. It talks about divisions of labor and how to pursue their free interests and collective benefits of society. This is not like an average investing guiding book. It's more like a history and encapsulating book which talks about how we came to where we are today. So, why don't you explain a little bit further about the importance of this book, Shashwat? Though it's not an
Yeah.
investing book per se.
I don't feel like we can do justice to what this behemoth of a book is, but I'm still making my way through this book. It's a wonderful book. Just the first 100 pages of this book is enough for you to write and have an illustrious economics career. If you, as an individual person, came up with the insights of the first 100 pages of this book, you would be given a Nobel Prize. That's how brilliant the insights are, which Adam Smith comes up with. And what most readers, once they sort of read Adam Smith, will realize is that, my God, this man is a genius. He's figured out economics. He's sort of taken up all the concepts in economics and made it into one seminal piece, in the sense that even the footnotes of Adam Smith are concepts which are being explored today, and Nobel Prizes are being awarded for those concepts. The Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics is being awarded for concepts such as very ingenious concepts which have come up in, such as loss aversion by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. Adam Smith had already written in his piece, The Wealth of Nations. But sadly for this man, he lived so many centuries ago, there was no Nobel Prize. I'm sure this man would have fielded up all the Nobel Prizes given the choice. And this book talks about, if you want to know how interest rates work, why certain nations are richer than others, and why the division of labor matters, in the sense that why economies run efficiently as they do, how are wages formed, in the sense that how is a good priced, why is there inflation in a certain country. This book is just economics condensed into one piece, and this requires a lot of dedication. And two of the most respected people in the field of economics and investing, one, Raghuram Rajan, personally recommended this book, saying Wealth of Nations would be something which most of you will find as someone who's a unique thinker. That's one. And number two, Warren Buffett has said that he learned economics just from this book. So if you are ready for the commitment of 1,000 pages, this book is definitely for you.
True. Well said. Very true. And this is that book is a commitment. It will test you on your dedication into learning, because it's the kind of book which you have to take your time reading. It's not like a fiction novel which you can run through over the weekend and say, okay, I've done it. This is the kind of book you have to slowly digest it and maybe take a few years to get through it. But it's really worth it. And I'm very proud that Shashwat, at such a young age, has dived into this book head first and he's getting his way through it. So hats off to Shashwat for reading this book. And all this is based on the last book. What you see Shashwat achieving today is clearly based on our last book, which we want to touch today, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is
Um,
specifically not about investing. It offers powerful insight into the psychology of habit forming and behavior change. So he clearly talks in the book about providing practical strategies of developing good financial habits, such as consistent saving, discipline in spending, and cultivation of patience. By understanding the science behind these habits, investors can leverage small powered incremental changes to create long term financial outcomes. So, any good investor, what he basically needs as a foundation bedrock, I would say, even forget investing, as a basic human being, you would need is good habits. And good habits are things you wish and put your mind to do. Good habits are subjective. Each person's habits are different from one another. But good habits are the habits which you personally choose to help you achieve your goals. That's what I'd say are good habits. And this book, he takes it step by step. He teaches you how to develop these habits. And I thought Shashwat can explore this book with you guys, since why it's so important at such a young age.
Right. There's something which this book, I listened to it. I'll confess that I didn't read it. I had a big problem with reading. So this was a book which I found the audiobook on YouTube for free, the complete audiobook. And I ended up listening to it. And, the thing is, when you listen to this man, you realize that he's just a not ordinary person like you or me. And he's someone who had a traumatic accident in terms of his head, and he was had to be shuttled to a hospital from that. And he talks about all of that in his book. But this book is by someone who's an ordinary person who's achieved extraordinary things. He has a newsletter of more than a few 100,000 people. and he's written there's an international bestseller. He sold a lot of copies of this book, and the points which he talks about in this book apply to any field. Doesn't matter whether you want to talk about investing, where you need to SIP, you need to come up with an action plan, you need to incentivize good habits, bad habits. I'm sure there'll be a video coming up on that. But this is a book which stretches far beyond that. And I saw a lot of comments where people had asked my uncle for weight loss tips and his journey with all that. And he'll tell you as much as I will that there's something called the 2 day rule in this. And that's something I've seen my uncle follow to the dot, in the sense that you don't miss exercise for more than 2 days. Because if you miss it for more than 2 days in a row, you're done. You're finished. The routine is now derailed, and there's a lot of inertia which is built up. Like those of you who did physics. So this is something which is I've seen firsthand helping both my uncles. It's helped me, and this is a book I definitely recommend for everyone, no matter what age you are at. And the younger you are, the better it is for you to pick it up and immediately go through it. All of you can finish it in a matter of a day or two. It's a great read. It hooks you on, and you will end up finishing it very, very fast.
Yeah, and I do recommend revisiting this book often. It's like any instruction manual. The more you read it, the more it becomes second nature to you. The more you can act upon it without thinking too much. So this is a kind of book now and then, every couple of months, go through it again. It doesn't take, like Shashwat said, very long to read. It's written very simple, very straightforward. There's nothing complicated in it. There's no rocket science in it. So you can get through it very fast, and it's very breezy. Something which you can sit and discuss with your friends and your family. So it's a book which I do recommend reading repeatedly till it becomes second nature to you. That being said, we brought you 5 fantastic books Shashwat has brought you today, which gives you a good perspective on being an investor, what you should do. They offer some timeless wisdom and on market psychology and how psychology works with us and everybody who are investors. We have brought you books which talk about financial habits and how nations and this free capital market which we live in came about. This wealth of knowledge which we are offering you through these 5 books gets you started in your investing journey, and more importantly, in your continuous learning, which you're going to get from all these books. And this learning can be applied to any field, just not in investing, not only in economics. You can take it and carry it forward into anything and everything which you're doing. I hope you found this really exciting, these 5 books, and I do hope you read them. And if you have read any of them, please do share it in the comments below. What was your experience reading these books? What did you think about these books? Or if you have any other 5 books or any other book which you'd like to recommend to our viewers, please do drop it in the comments below. And we'll also try and talk about these books. And if you have not read it, me and Shashwat will definitely look into reading these books, which you recommend, and talk about them. That being said, please do remember we're not financial advisors. We're not SEBI appointed or in any way technical analysis investing gurus in this. We're absolutely retail investors
Novices.
like you guys. They're novices. We just enjoy sharing our knowledge with you. And a lot of us are asked, how did you manage to do this? How did you manage to break out of this cycle? So we're just over here sharing our journey and hope it inspires you to start your journey. So what do you want to add? Any last words, Shashwat?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly announce that we're doing a Q&A video this Sunday, and we'll be fielding questions from the comment sections. And please don't be disheartened if your question doesn't get picked up, but we're trying to pick up as many questions as we can, and we'll answer them as much as possible. So keep sending your questions in, and there have been a lot of questions already, and thank you for that. So we'll quickly come out with a video for that, and we hope to see you soon.
Correct. And that Q&A video is going to be quite long. So be ready to buy some popcorn and sit, because the amount of questions you guys have asked is quite a lot. And by the time we get into these questions which have selected itself, we'll run into a very long video. That being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did like our channel, please do subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification icon so you're notified every time we come up with a new video. And if it's something that you think your friends or your family would like, please do share our video. And thank you again for being with us today on Be Rich.
It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.